Hello, welcome to this video. How are you doing? In this video here we will go through how you can archive the companion that you made, and afterwards you can back it up for yourself or you can upload it to nexusmods.com. So I have, for the sake of this tutorial here, I have re-downloaded Betnia, so we can take a look at how I've built the folder structure. The thing that we are doing is, overall, we are rebuilding the folder structure of the game. So in this case, the files from our companion would be in a data folder, and then we would have the meshes, scripts, sound and textures, and then of course also the ESP. So let's just take a look here. I think it's going to be easier to explain. So if we open this up, we can see there's a data folder, and then we have the meshes, scripts, sound, textures, and we have our companion ESP. So if, for example, the meshes folder, in here there is the generated face gen data that we generated in the creation kit. So if you look at that, we can see meshes, actors, character, face gen data, face geometry, and then the name of our plugin, and then we have the NIF file. So this is overall what we built for the entire mod. So we are going to go through this in this video. Alright, so first things first, getting all of the right scripts and stuff sometimes is somewhat of a pain, so what I recommend you do is you open up Creation Kit and then you go to the dialog quest, you go to quest data, and then you click on recompile all papyrus scripts. And now if you click on this, as we can see, everything should compile just fine. The reason why we are doing this, and let do its thing, is that if we go into our scripts folder, and imagine we had way more than this now. As you can see, it is changing the date, so if you just filter by date modified, everything that has been last modified will go to the top, so it makes it really easy to see what we are using. This comes in handy for the source folder, in case you want to include the PSC files. So of course the PSC files here aren't changed, but you don't need them, so it is a bit trickier to get the PSC files, because as you can see here, yesterday I wrote somebody else's script, but if we filter by date modified, it is just somewhat of a mess. But normally the vanilla ones from the game itself, they have been edited a long time ago, so you should see that all of these are the newer ones. And overall, me for example, I know that this one right here, I don't need it overall, so I'm just gonna delete that. So in theory it should be all of them, but this, if you have the time, you know, you can look for them, you can include them. But this overall, you as I've said, you don't need PSC files to be in your mod. This is only if you want to make it possible for other people to check through it in Creation Kit and take a look at what you've done, you know, in case they are trying to learn how you did it, you know, take a look at some of your scripts, etc. Which is the reason why I usually include them. But as I've said, the PEX files, when you recompile them inside of the Creation Kit, they will always be recompiled, thus the date modified will change, and then you can easily filter for them. So that is all that we have to do. So we could, in theory, after doing this, we can also go here to the tracking marker and recompile that. That will be done in an instant. So now we have, today, what time is it? 5:42. So as we can see, 5:42, 5:40, that's okay. This is from yesterday, so we know this is not what we want. So we would take all of these and then afterwards put them inside of our folder. So now let's start from the beginning here. So you won't need Creation Kit after this. What I usually do is that on the desktop I create a folder afterwards, but first let's open up our Skyrim folder, and now we take this window and we drag it to the right. See this white thing pop up? If we then let go, it will put the window here. So this is great because it will be really easy to see what we are doing. So afterwards on the desktop, what I do is I create a new folder, I call it data, and then I open this up and I drag it to the left as well. So we have this nice thing right here. So afterwards, this here is our mod folder. This will be the main basis of the archive, if that makes sense. So what we can do is we take our ESP and we drag it in here. But if you have Skyrim installed on your C drive and you are dragging it on the desktop, because the desktop is also on the C drive where Windows is, it will move it. So right click it, copy, and then paste. In my case, I can just drag it around because it's gonna automatically copy it because my game is installed on a completely different drive. So that's how you do that. Just right click, copy, and then here paste. Of course I need to overwrite because it's already here, but you know, you get the point. Then afterwards, the only things that we will need is the meshes folder, scripts, sound, and textures. Now, if you want to include everything for people to see what they're doing, you would of course also include the dialogue views, but this I don't really quite recommend you put them in there. You know, it's just optional stuff. You know, never mind those. Just saying though, if you want to take a look at that on your own, you know, I mean, it's nothing fancy. So what I do is I always then make my meshes folder, I make my scripts folder, I make my sound folder, not sounds but sound, and then I also make my textures folder. So now we have our plugin and we have our folder structure built for the main ones, which is the meshes, textures, scripts, and sound. Now to grab our meshes, if we go to here, we see our actors folder, character, face gen data, face geometry, and then we have the name of our ESP, and we have our NIF file. So what I do is I just overall grab this folder, the actors one, and then afterwards I paste it in here. So our mod, in this case, it would be meshes, actors, character, face gen data, face geometry, the name of our plugin, and then the NIF file, the face. That's how I do it. However, if you have, unlike in my case here, I have recently reinstalled all of it, so it's pretty clean in my case. But if you have other mods installed and stuff, and the meshes folder has a lot of other things in it, what I do is I just take a look where it is and stuff, you know, and if we maximize this, we can see the path in the top here. So it would be data, meshes, actors, characters, character face and then blah 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 blah. And then what I do is in here I would create the folder structure manually. So that's how you do that. The only important thing is that you just build your folder structure the right way, how it is in your Skyrim folder itself. Because then afterwards, as I've said, if we extract our companion inside of our Skyrim folder, it will be all in the right spot and the game will know where to look for it. So that's the meshes done. Now for the scripts. Open up our scripts here. Open up our scripts here. As we can see, after recompiling, we have these. This one's from yesterday, so we don't want that. So in my case, I would take these, copy them, and paste them in here. So that's all of your scripts. And now for the sound. Let's open up the sound. So I can just take this, paste this in here, so that the structure should be only like this. The other files, you don't need them, because the temp lib, temp web file, this is just stuff from the notification kit, processing those from the notification kit. The empty one here, that was just a dummy for you to see more or less in the mods what things you will be creating, but the only thing you need is this. So it should be voice and then the name of a plugin and then the editor ID name of the voice type, and then in here we would have all of our FOSS files. However, I only have one because I only made one voice file in the tutorial series, but this is all you need. Then afterwards the textures, whoops, let's open that up. Again, same thing, copy that, paste that in here, check if there's any other files that you don't want, and no, in our case this is fine. We only have the DDS file and the TGA file, which is exactly what we want. So I hope that this makes sense to you. If you have any questions, leave a comment somewhere, I will check it out. This overall is the only thing that you need to do. The only thing that we are really doing is rebuilding the folder structure of the game, but we are only putting the files of our mod in here. So that, imagine we were to take this now, and we will copy this, and we will paste it in here. What would happen is it would overwrite all of the files, but they would all be in the right location, which is exactly what we want. Okay, so after we have done that, what I do is I take the name of my plugin, copy the name. Now we have our data folder here, right? So this is our mod. This right here is our mod with all the stuff in it. So what I do is I right click, and then I make a new zip archive, and then I call it whatever my plugin is named. However, in this case, you know, I think I could even call it companion, like so. Then all you need to do is just you take your data folder and you drag it in here, and it's done. So if you open up the archive, it is ready to be uploaded. It is ready to be installed with Nexus Mod Manager or whatever mod program you're using. I'm still using it. So if we take a look, we have everything nicely built. We have the message actor, blah 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 blah. Everything is exactly how it should be. So this is all you have to do. So now you can back up your companion and you can upload it. However, I suggest you check through the description on the framework mod page on my profile, because I have talked about something there that if you were to upload this and other people also use my framework, and some user decided that they like two companions, and if they use the same framework, the thing is that there will be compatibility issues because the ESP will have the same name, the scripts will have the same name, etc. So they will basically override each other. So for now, this keep that in mind. You can back this up for yourself. You can use it. You can do whatever you want with it privately, you know. But I will make another video where I go into detail how you can rename your ESP, which then of course would need those kind of folders renamed, because it has to be the name of your plugin. And I'm also gonna cover how you can rename the scripts, because actually the TIF, that's topic info, and then the number that the creation kit generates are all random. However, because they have already been created here once, you know, everyone using this framework will have the same script names and stuff, you know, if that makes sense. So I will cover how you can rename them, because you can't just simply go ahead here and then change the name of it. That doesn't work. So yeah, that's all you have to do. I'm gonna get rid of this. And now here would be our companion. So that's all for that. See you in the next video.